Hello again. So I saw a little bit of this video and comments with it are interesting. So this is about sextortion, and this guy was arrested. He did it, and then a lot of people writing here: usual suspects, white guy, that's a European migrant, usual suspects for these crimes. Actually, it's not. The usual suspects are in almost all crimes the black community. Basketball Americans, as they are also called, or joggers. This is a term that I heard, I think, 2 years ago, and I thought someone made a comment about this related to what sociologists were trying to do, and that was very disturbing, to say the least, when I realized what it was going on. Disturbing that was going on, and the comment was like this. It said. I made a screenshot, but I thought I deleted it later because I thought, yeah, this is just nonsense. I thought this was something about crime, and someone made a comment, and then another guy said, yeah, the more joggers you get into a certain area, the more crime increases. And it doesn't matter how wealthy these joggers are. This is just how it goes, and so they don't set examples, and this is why sociologists have begun to advocate for equal outcome. And I thought, and this guy said, well, we're talking about crime. Why are you talking about joggers? And I thought, joggers. Why? What is that? Is that something like hockey or so? So hockey players are a certain class of people, certain type of people. In the Netherlands, at least. So certain, more like higher income, more higher educated people from those kind of families tend to play more hockey. And I thought maybe it's something like this. What is he talking about? Is there some issue with jogging? And I was just thinking completely in the wrong direction. I didn't know anything about using other words to designate groups. And of course, that's only done because YouTube does a lot of manipulation. They remove comments, ban people for just stating the truth, stating reality, such as crime statistics. So maybe that will happen here as well. I will see. I don't care. So a lot of people say usual suspects, but the usual suspects are in almost all cases basketball Americans, as they're also called, and what I want to go back to is what this reminded me of, which is 2010 or so. Thinking about what to do. I was thinking about leaving the Netherlands already then. But there were a lot of issues, a lot of delays. I needed to do house renovations, to finish them. And I had an issue that prevented me from doing that for years. I had to do other things, and everything was delayed. But in any case, I was thinking about it already in 2010 to leave the Netherlands. I had already long ago, when I was 11, 12, I was thinking I should move to the USA. And I don't know the exact reason why, but I think it was because I knew from what I had read and heard that the USA is more open to excellence. In the Netherlands, it's not. There's a saying: "Don't stick out your head above the mowing field, or it will get cut off." And a friend of mine mentioned about from the USA said about the difference in attitudes towards business in the USA and Europe. In the USA, people say, "Oh, interesting idea, good luck," and in Europe, the more common reaction is, "Oh, that'll never work." So negative attitude. And yeah, that's a big difference. USA is more oriented towards success, but also it has, of course, problems with no fallback, welfare issues. It's much, and you can get easily fired. It's much less than safe in the terms of having a stable future than Western Europe. So I was thinking about what to do, but at that time I already felt no, USA is not an option. I saw no future for the USA at the time, and it's only become worse than I thought. From what I've seen, years ago, I was thinking, maybe there could be something like a civil war. It'll not get that far. Just like in Belgium, for example, there's a strong dislike of the French-speaking community from the Dutch-speaking community, and it's because of different attitudes and different performances also. It's a bit the same as in the USA, where you have this group which commits the most crimes, the usual suspects, which are the basketball Americans. In almost all crimes, they had the tables in crimes, and also in these crimes. I'll go to that. Let's see. This is the first trip to Ukraine. So this is what I wanted to talk about as well in relation to that, which is a talk I had with a businessman from Odessa. I met him on the plane from Amsterdam to Kiev. He went on then to take a plane to Odessa. We talked on the plane about life in the Netherlands, USA, Western Europe. He thought USA was great. I said I see no future there. And I thought more Eastern Europe is going to be better. And not necessarily now or soon, but in the future, because the USA was already clearly on a self-destructive course. In Western Europe, the same thing, not as bad, but immigrants coming here and Netherlands, and then complaining about customs or street names and whining about racism, blah 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 blah. Yeah, you know who are the most racists? Africans. If you look at the statistics, look at the research, you will find that, and you can find it everywhere. If you look at comments, for example, interesting sites for some types of topics about, for example, women being men and playing sports is letsrun.com. There you could see it as well. But you could see it everywhere. Europeans accept the most. And anyone complaining about it is just a nut job, and they should get the F out of there and stop wasting our time. In any case, the politicians, of course, are the problem, as everywhere, and they are setting Western Europe on a self-destructive course. What I mentioned in the comments, I think 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, with one of my videos in response to something that someone wrote there, a comment, was that people should not be allowed into your country who don't fit into that country. So I like it in Ukraine. I'm not saying, oh, you should change this, you should change that. No. This means I fit in, and why not? Then it makes sense that I would be allowed to live here if you don't have the same views as the country that you go to. And you should not be allowed to live there. You should not be accepted in any situation. But that's what's being done. People who have different religions that don't fit in, and it only gives problems. A lot of problems, a lot of things in the news, then they say, that's an import problem. That's not my problem, that's someone else's problem. And they're coming here and they're making it our problem. Any case, so I thought I saw no future in Western Europe, and this guy was very positive about USA, but of course he was an economist, by the way, PhD in economy, and he had a business in Odessa. He was Russian nationality, I think. So not Ukrainian, Russian speaking, but still Russian nationality. but unfortunately I did not ask for his contact details or something. It would have been interesting to get his views now. So I saw no future in the USA, and the biggest problem is the self-destructive nature of what's going on, which has been made worse by Obama, and then even worse by the terrorist organization BLM, which gave this group, the Basketball Americans, in a way, the permission to do anything because they are perpetual victims. Well, they aren't. They should do something about their life, do it themselves, and quit whining. Now let's look at the crime statistics. So this is a bit weird because it says here 2019 estimated population 229 million. I thought it was more than 300 million in the US, even in 2019. So, but anyway. So Black or African Americans, these make up about 13% of the population, but crime offenses charged 26.6%. So that's way overrepresented, and it's more overrepresented in violent stuff like murder and non-negligent manslaughter, 51%, even though they're only 13% of the population. That's why people often say 13%, 15, 53%. The 53% is the violent crimes, and here robbery 52.7, rape 26.7. So this is one of the sexual offenses, and this video that I showed is not about a sexual offense in sense of rape, but it is a sort of sexual offense, and I think that falls, and you can see everywhere that it's way above 13%, almost everywhere except here. And this is driving under the influence, liquor laws, drunkenness, anything to do with alcohol. It's approximately with how many percent they are of the population. Anything else, it's way higher. And one of those is offenses against family and children, also very high, 28%. Sex offenses, except rape and prostitution, 20.6%. So that's also way more. And look at the Europeans, 74%. They're approximately 70% of the population, I think. 70 could be 75. So it's about the same, but this is 1.5 times. So that is way more relatively than the white population, the Europeans. So actually the usual statistics, the usual suspects are not these people, but the Basketball Americans. And by the way, interesting to see is that the crime is almost always committed within the community. So when people say, yeah, we're being hunted, like that LeBron James basketballer player, yeah, by your own people, or yeah, we're being killed by police. Come on, that's almost nothing. If you look at the number of people that killed that the community does itself. And interesting is, so this is about 51% for 31% of the population, means about 7 times the crime that the Europeans commit. 7 times. That's a huge amount. And it's within their own group. And these also within their own group. Usually it's within their own group, and that's because of birds of a feather flock together. People just stay in groups that are similar to them. This is also why importing a lot of people is a very bad idea for Western Europe. It'll destabilize the societies. Yeah, so back to that guy. He mentioned, the guy from Odessa, he mentioned that he had been in the Netherlands. Yeah, he was there, of course, from Amsterdam he came. He got in the airplane. But he was a bit shocked, and I was trying to get what really was it that shocked him. I think it was because perhaps he was trying to not tell it exactly what it was. Of course, in the USA, there are a lot of non-Europeans, and already at the time causing a lot of crime. It has been for many years. Um, so it could not really have been like that he was against, for example, other people. But I think it was something like that, namely that people in the Netherlands are not, and it goes for Western Europe, are not having pride in their own country enough, in their own customs enough, and in a way, letting people walk over them. I think that was it. I could not get it exactly. Yeah, I think he didn't really want to explicitly say it. I tried to get to it, but didn't come to it exactly. But I felt about the Netherlands at that time and Western Europe that they were also heading on a self-destructive course. The USA was going on there for a much longer time already, and it's much worse, and it has become far worse last few years. Worse than I thought it would get. But it's getting to a point where it's similar to Belgium, that there is a resentment of one group towards the other group because of all the issues they cause. In Belgium, it's the Dutch who don't like, or the Dutch speaking, who don't really like the French speaking parts because they are problematic in all sorts of ways, similar to this group being problematic in being less productive and doesn't really matter much anymore. Further, maybe it's interesting for another video or something to discuss Belgium and how Belgians look at Dutchmen and vice versa, and how they look at the Frenchmen and language issues, etc. But in any case, so there you have these immigrants in the Netherlands, but in other countries as well. UK, you have them also, of course, complaining about statues, complaining about words, names, languages, words. Yeah, words in a certain language in any country. So that, yeah, this is not a good word. You should not use it. Get the hell out of there. If you don't like it, get the F out. And it's giving these whiners, which are not necessarily representative, by the way, of all the immigrants. But there is a strong problem with a lot of immigrants. And it's similar, actually, to the USA. So if you look at crime statistics for the Netherlands, then the native Dutch, you could set at 1 for the certain crimes. Then Turks, for example, it's at 2.5 times. Moroccans 3 times, and Africans from the Aruba, Bonaire, Curaçao, 3 islands, part of the Dutch Empire, 5 times. 5 times. Similar to the USA, where it's like for violent crimes 7 times. It shows you also, by the way, that it's not just culture, because these groups are not related. There's more to it. But this group needs, and you have the same issues as in the USA, that these types of people, the women, are often happy to have children without parents, without the dad being there, so without being married. This is an issue with choosing what to do for welfare. You don't have the same issue with Dutch women, or here in the US, white women. They're not the same ratio. So that's a problem with that group. It's a mentality, it's inbuilt. And whether that's group, I don't think it's just group or culture, because you see the same thing in unrelated groups or unconnected groups, let's say, from the USA. You see it I think in the UK as well. Certain other aspects of behavior are similar in UK and the Netherlands and USA. Yeah, it's very interesting. I think that group needs religion, and I saw a video, I think a year ago, or was it 2 years ago, about how bad it is that there's religion in public schools. No, it's absolutely necessary. It gives you something that is bigger than yourself to believe in, and as a sort of something to strive for, something that similar to how a policeman or a police force works. If you remove all the police, what happens? Crime increases. And this is like a mental type of police. And then you have people saying, yeah, the Bible, yeah, that's a book of fairy tales. No, it's not. It's a book of history and different type of thinking. And whether some types of things were possible or not, or did happen or not, doesn't really matter. Main issue is the New Testament. Old Testament is like eye for an eye, but Christ said, yeah, no, let's do it differently. And some things are not as you directly might think, such as someone I knew from Kharkov via my bicycle website. I talked to him and he said, yeah, but Christ said, I'm not here to make friends, but I will bring the sword, or something like that. And I thought immediately, yeah, but that can't be. He's not, because he said also turn the other cheek. So I read the section in the Bible, and of course from the context it was clear he was not going to make friends with people. He was going to tell the truth, or what really should be done, and that's what it was meant with that section. And that is the whole point of such a Bible. It's like morals, and morals are not ad hoc constructs, as someone claimed. I mentioned that in a previous video a long time ago. Some really stupid woman, I think sociology or psychology, I think it was a woman, and she studied one of those topics. But yeah, these people are incompetent. It's always the same. And that could actually help. But at the moment I see no future for the USA. I think Trump will win because of the stupidity going on with letting everyone into the country now. But we will see, and it'll take a long time to get better. And in Western Europe, things are also not as bad as in the USA, but they're also not good. It's like the insane asylum, and there were philosophical talks long ago. I think from the 60s I heard about it from my parents, from when they were really young, talking about stuff, and they were into these discussion groups, and it is 70s I think. But these things were going on much earlier. I've read comments in other places. I think these types of ideas were getting discussed, especially in the 60s and 70s, which is that the normal people are in the asylums. And in a way, that is true. That if you are normal and you look at what's going on now, then you think, these people are all insane. If I'm going to it, and they will probably think I'm insane, therefore they are the majority, will send me to the insane asylum. That means I'm normal, but I'm in the insane asylum. Okay, future of the USA. Yeah, I don't see a future for now. I think it's going to be bad for a very, very long time, until reality is allowed back in. And that also means remove all that stupid manipulation by YouTube. You YouTube morons, and allow people to tell the truth. If you don't allow the truth, there was something about physics also that I could say. It was about non-exact methods in physics, and the guy with whom I did my research said, yeah, if you don't do certain things, then it's like the road that's underwater. You don't know where the potholes are. That's it for now. Bye.